We're looking for virality. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I think we're looking at Caitlin Clark's ad being one of the more viral things we've seen in a long time. Like if you look at the Instagram post on Nike, as far as I'm aware, the Instagram post has like 30 million views.
So let's get into the hard numbers, because Caitlin Clark's Nike advertisement has instantly become one of the most explosive and viral sports marketing campaigns we have witnessed in years. And if you're another player in the WNBA, seeing this unfold has to make you feel some type of way, and it's completely understandable. The post on Nike's official Instagram page has blazed past 30 million views in a mere 2 days.
And the fact is that this is only in 2 days. It is the 27th. The reality is that you could be looking at upwards of 40-50 million views on this post.
Have you ever found yourself in a situation at work or in your chosen field where you watched a colleague receive so much incredible recognition and success that you had to take a step back and start questioning your own relevance? Go ahead and comment below if you have, because that exact gut-wrenching feeling is precisely what many players in the WNBA.
So, since Caitlin Clark's very first reveal, 22.4 million views. Between the Caitlin Clark logo reveal and this Caitlin Clark video, the only Instagram videos from Nike that have more views is a
Caitlin Clark's brand new Nike ad didn't just get released, it absolutely detonated across the internet in a way that has her rivals spinning and frankly panicking. This commercial rocketed to 30 million views on Instagram in just a mind-boggling 2 days, instantly making it one of Nike's most viral posts of all time. You have to imagine other WNBA players are just sitting there, watching this unprecedented rollout, and coming to the chilling realization that the already massive gap between their
Hey, Caitlin! Can you make it from there?
Hey, Caitlin, how about from here? Come on, guys.
Yeah, she can't make it from there. No chance.
Caitlin, conmigo, let.
You got it. I'm not even gonna ask.
Hey, Caitlin, from here might be impressive. Am I right?
Let that sink in. 30 million. That is not a normal number. Those are not your standard run-of-the-mill athlete endorsement figures. That is the kind of engagement that signals you've entered the territory of a true cultural phenomenon.
From right here.
From there!
From anywhere.
All right, well, looks like she can do it.
To really wrap our heads around that number, let's put it into some serious perspective, because the context here is everything. Since Caitlin Clark's logo was revealed, the only videos on Nike's entire Instagram feed that have managed to get more views are a post celebrating the Dodgers and the global superstar Shohei Ohtani winning the championship, and another post about the Brazilian women's football team that soared to an incredible 100 million views. Of course, Nike has had its share of viral campaigns in the past, but believe me, this one is hitting on a completely different level. This ad is breaking through the usual sports barriers and reaching audiences that on any other day typically don't care about basketball in the slightest. And that right there is how you know you're witnessing something truly special. Alright, well, looks like she can. That is the elite company that Caitlin Clark is now keeping. She is not in a competition for engagement with other WNBA players anymore. She's competing on a global stage with World Series champions and Olympic gold medalists. The gap between her and the rest of the league isn't just massive, it's almost unfathomable. She can't make it. There's absolutely no chance. I'm not even gonna ask. From here might be impressive. And just to be clear, this ad has only been out in the world for 2 days, a mere 48 hours, and it's already sitting at a staggering 30 million views on Instagram by itself. Now think about what happens when you factor in all the other major platforms, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and every other social media corner where this thing is being clipped, shared, and discussed. When you do the math, you're likely looking at a grand total of around 50 million views across the entire social media ecosystem. That degree And you can't even try to argue that this is simply a case of Nike being exceptionally good at marketing. Yes, of course, Nike absolutely knows how to manufacture viral content, but the reality is they produce a massive amount of content all the time. The vast majority of it does not come close to hitting 30 million views in 48 hours. The undeniable reason this specific ad is performing at such a stratospheric level is because Caitlin Clark commands an audience that other WNBA players, through no fault of their own, simply do not have. And that isn't just an opinion or a hot take. That is a measurable, verifiable fact based on cold, hard engagement numbers. Now, let's drill down into what makes this situation particularly brutal for Clark's rivals and peers within the WNBA. Consider Nike's own major Winning Isn't For Everyone campaign, which was a significant high-budget push that featured multiple superstar athletes. That campaign is currently sitting at about 15 million views. Caitlin Clark's ad announcing her new shoe has doubled that number in less time than it takes for a weekend to pass. This means Nike is throwing more promotional weight and seeing a far greater return. So here is the part of the story that has to sting the most if you are another player in the WNBA. Clark is the very player that many critics and even some peers have tried to claim only got her massive attention because of media hype and preferential coverage, rather than her actual undeniable basketball skill. She's supposedly the overrated one, the one who got special treatment, the one who didn't truly deserve all the attention she was getting. And yet, she is the one who has an army of fans who actually show up and watch basketball games. The truly brutal reality that many other WNBA players are being forced to confront is this: social media engagement does not always translate into real-world impact. There are literally hundreds of thousands of fans out there who loudly claim to stan various WNBA players online. They post about them constantly, they get into arguments defending them in the comment sections, and they even create entire fan accounts dedicated to them. But here's the problem: when the actual game time comes, a huge portion of those fans aren't actually tuning in to watch. The viewership numbers simply do not align with all the noise being made on social media. Caitlin Clark represents the complete opposite of that trend. Her massive social media engagement directly translates into people actually watching the games. When she is on the court, viewership numbers spike dramatically. When she was injured and not playing, the ratings saw a noticeable drop. The correlation between her presence and viewership is direct and undeniable. The people who follow her online are the same people who show up and tune in to watch her play basketball. That right there is the critical difference between what we can call real fandom and performative fandom, and it's a difference that is worth hundreds of millions of dollars to sports leagues and major brands. Meanwhile, the players who are supposed to be the established real stars of the league have large social media followings that, for whatever reason, do not translate to putting eyeballs on the actual games. Let's not forget, Team USA played in half-empty arenas during the last Olympics. I want to repeat that, half empty. These were supposed to be the absolute best players on the entire planet, representing their country, and people couldn't even be bothered to show up and fill the seats. But you can bet everything you own that when Caitlin Clark is officially named to the roster for the next major international competition, those same venues are going to be completely packed to the rafters. People are already making travel plans with the assumption that they'll get to go and watch her play. That is the difference. That is what genuine, undeniable star power actually looks like, and that is the thought that has to be absolutely terrifying for her rivals. They aren't just competing with the phenomenon of peak Caitlin Clark, they are now competing with a post-peak Caitlin Clark, and even that version of her is still casually dropping ads that get 30 million views in 2 days. If this is what her declining looks like, what possible chance do other players have of ever catching up? The whole cultural relevance argument is also a fascinating one to consider. Will Caitlin Clark ever be more culturally relevant than she was during her incredible run in 2024? Honestly, probably not. But here's the critical point. Even if 2024 was her absolute, once-in-a-lifetime peak, the sheer scale of Nike's investment in Clark also signals something incredibly important about the state of the brand itself. Right now, Nike needs Caitlin Clark. The brand has been facing some struggles relative to its competitors in recent years, and they have clearly identified Clark as a transcendent star who can single-handedly move the needle for them commercially. It's telling that they are not investing at anywhere near this level in any other women's basketball players. You have to imagine that other WNBA players are watching all of this unfold and are left wondering what on earth they need to do differently. They are out there grinding every single day on social media, meticulously building their personal brands, and desperately trying to engage with their fans. And then, Caitlin Clark drops a single commercial and racks up more genuine engagement in 48 hours than most of them are able to achieve in an entire. What makes this whole situation even more complex is that Caitlin Clark isn't even someone who is particularly active on social media herself. Her overwhelming advantage isn't being cultivated online, it is being earned on the basketball court. The simple truth is that people are captivated by watching her play the game of basketball, and that intense interest naturally translates into massive engagement with absolutely everything that is attached to her name. This advertisement, becoming one of the most viral sports marketing launches in history, dramatically raises the stakes for the actual shoe release, which is slated for the spring of 2026. If that shoe underperforms at retail, it will be widely seen as a massive failure. But if it delivers on its promise, if it sells out instantly and goes on to generate 9 figures in revenue, then we are looking at a complete and total paradigm shift in the. Think about it. None of the other WNBA signature shoes have ever launched with this kind of cultural impact and anticipation. None of them have had promotional campaigns that featured major A-list celebrities, and absolutely none of them have come close to hitting 30 million Instagram views in just 2 days. Let's not forget the staggering statistic that Caitlin Clark was responsible for an estimated 27% of the WNBA's entire economic impact in 2024, and she did that while only playing in 13 games. That is an unprecedented level of leverage for a single player. And now, she's on the verge of launching a signature shoe that is widely expected to generate a massive amount of revenue. The wealth gap that already exists between her and the other players in the league is about to explode into a chasm. That kind of disparity inevitably creates a great deal of tension within the league. When one player is on track to make generational wealth while many others are still fighting for modest increases in their salaries, it makes the concept of league-wide solidarity much more difficult to achieve. The sheer scale of Clark's success inadvertently exposes just how far behind everyone else is in terms of their marketability and their overall earning potential. Nike is also very clearly positioning her to be a global ambassador for the brand. Achieving that kind of international recognition opens up a world of revenue streams that other players simply do not have access to. In essence, she is already in the process of building a global brand, while many of her peers are still struggling to build up their national relevance. What must be the most frustrating part of all this for other players is that Clark isn't out there actively trying to outshine anyone. She is simply playing basketball at an elite level and signing the endorsement deals that come her way, and the free market is responding in an overwhelming fashion. The market has unequivocally decided that it values Caitlin Clark more than any other women's basketball player by an absolutely enormous margin. The timing of all this is absolutely perfect for Nike, and at the same time completely brutal for everyone else in the league. The shoe is set to launch right as Clark is expected to return to the court fully healthy, and public interest in her will be peaking once again. As a result, other players will be left fighting for whatever scraps of attention are left in a season that will be completely and utterly dominated by the narrative surrounding Caitlin Clark. The core from anywhere messaging that you see in the ad perfectly captures the essence of her appeal to so many people. It's deeply aspirational. It's a message that resonates far beyond the world of sports. Nike completely nailed the branding on this one, and the result is that they are going to sell a tremendous number of shoes. This ad isn't just a piece of content that is performing well, it is a true statistical outlier. It is actively competing for attention with major cultural moments and global news events. That is precisely what happens when an athlete manages to transcend their sport and become a cultural icon.